morning. It is Tuesday. What's good? What's true? What's happening?
It's raining a little bit.
And it's raining a little bit. Say good morning.
Good morning.
TransTuesday is happening today. It will happen. I've been thinking about what I want to talk to you about, and I'm super excited for that. And so hang in there, watch our trailer, look at our Facebook page while you wait. Today I want to talk about being trans, like coming out as trans in a relationship. I've had like a really awesome environment that I've come out in and have had to navigate as a trans person. Being in a relationship with a person that actively working at creating a safer space in the relationship is like phenomenal. It's like super awesome. I'd been thinking about trans things for the past like many years, and like it started with learning about like what is this word like transgender and what does that mean, and understanding all the nuances and things that go with like with transness, and then like being in a relationship with Emily where she, without knowing it, like started talking about trans bodies and trans things, and having this conversation with me where like however I felt about like my physical body was true and that was valid, and that was like the first time feeling that way and not feeling like I had to justify why I didn't feel connected to the way my physical body looked, and like having another person to like kind of like go over things that I was thinking about and be like, hey, like trying things on for size, and like coming to and like being with someone that was like that would check in with you and just say like, hey, so like we've been talking about these things a lot, like would you like, how do you feel about like me using like different pronouns, or like do you want to try a different name out? And there was a solid chunk of time where the only person I was sane to was Emily, and it was a really cool period for me because I felt, okay, this is like a safe bubble and I can like try it out and then like figure out how would the world react to Thane and react to me coming out, and like having that period like gave me the confidence to just like go out and then to like come out to people at work, come out to like really good friends and folks. One of the things that I valued most was her checking in with me. That was like such an important part in like coming out as trans. In a relationship, like of course, like for a trans person, like you're transitioning, you're coming out, it's a really big thing. But at the same time, like I had to remind myself that I wasn't the only person going through transition. Like the way our relationship looked and felt was transitioning, the way society saw our relationship was transitioning, the way like I felt comfortable interacting with my partner was transitioning, and the way things worked in like physical way and emotional ways was changing. And like I had to remind myself that there were things that were changing that were out of my control, and they were changing because of what I was doing, because I was coming out and because I was transitioning. And I had to also like remember for leeway and remember for space. Like there's a lot of things, like we're taught a lot, like our relationships are supposed to be so contained that the person you're with, they're supposed to be your be all and end all, and they're your best friend and lover and all this, and those are really rad things. But realizing that sometimes there's conversations like you just don't need to have with your partner. Expressing some frustrations and like talking through some things with your partner is just going to exacerbate their own situation. You want to be able to come to your relationship and you want to be able to work on things together and be a partner with this person because you're choosing to be a partner with them, and not just like saying all these things or like putting your partner in situations that like exacerbate their own like thought process and wherever they are in their own like mental states. And I really had to remember that like, yeah, like I am going through a lot. I am doing a lot of changes. I'm transitioning in a lot of ways. And this is even before medical transition, which is like coming out as trans. Like I'm changing a lot of me. I'm changing the way people identify me. But that's going to impact the way people identify my relationship. That's going to impact the way that people identify my partner and identities of my partner. And like, I think like looking back, something that I wish I did a lot more and I wish I was more intentional was just like creating, like having space and like taking time to honor that and honor those conversations needed to happen then. And I wish like I was a little bit more, I wish I had hindsight in the moment that I could say, you know what, let's sit down and let's talk about these things. Yes, like I've been talking a lot about like coming out as a trans person and all my fears and all these things, but for a second, like I want to talk about like how all this is like impacting my partner and talking with them about that and creating a space where they can tell me how they're really feeling and without being worried about negatively impacting me. Because like change is scary. Change is scary in all things, regardless of whether or not you're excited for it. It's scary and it brings a lot of emotions with it. And I think coming out in a relationship, it's not just the one person who's trans coming out. Like everything about that relationship is changing, and it's gonna change very fast. And just having those conversations with your partner and saying, you know what, like yes, I'm eating up a lot of the emotional and mental time in our relationship, but I also want to make sure that we're communicating about your things. Yeah, so that's stuff that's been on my mind a lot. Now back to the rest of Tuesday. Peace. Becca! So who are we doing this interview with?
Yeah, come on, you don't know. Awkward. With the community edition from Kitchener-Waterloo.
Okay.
The local news. Local news.
We're on the radio yesterday, local news today. Big screens tomorrow. Alright.
My turns off.
So yeah, we finished the interview with
the community edition.
What a really awesome interview. How did you feel about it?
I felt good. I felt like he was into it and that we are like situating ourselves. This is where we come from. This is where our viewpoint is. I think that's going to be helpful for people who want to be involved to know whether or not they're good.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all good, but like I'm like, screw that. You know, let's just do us.
Yeah. I was like, oh, should I say this word or that word? Which one's friendlier? But you know what? The news is just gonna have to deal with us, and if they're racist, it's even better. I know.
That's the point.
It's like I need to stop myself from trying to be palatable.
Yeah. Well.
Cool stuff.
Palatable.
So yeah, Project Uprooted. Check us out right now. Yeah, if you want to. There's no real pressure, but we'd love for you to. You love to love us.
Be friends with you even if you didn't.
Yeah, hit us up. We'd love to be friends with you.
Think about it like in all hours of the night, like